The Jacksonville Jaguars re-signed two players. One is on the offensive line. Why that could be good and bad, I'll tell you right now on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello. Welcome to another edition of the Locked On Jaguars podcast, hosted by me, Tony Wiggins. And it's your team every day here. We love to thank you for making us your first listen. Reminder, we are free to subscribe to on our YouTube page that is Locked On Jaguars. Make sure you tap in every single day. Go over, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then hit that bell so you get notifications each and every time we drop an episode. Also, wherever you get your audio podcasts, make sure you tap in there every single day also so you won't miss an episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. What's up, everydayers? Glad you joined me every single day. And you can be an everyday if you're not one. All you got to do is join me every single day, just like those people I call everydayers do. Struggling with my voice a little bit here, but I got enough in me to say this loud. It looks like the Jags going to run it back on that offensive line. And don't look no further than right here, because I told you that that's probably what they were going to do. I think I tweeted out over a month ago that listening to them and reading between the lines, that it sounded like them boys were ready to run it back. It sounded like them boys were ready to run it back. Trent and Doug, the GM and the head coach, keep talking about injuries, and continuity. They just going to run it back with the offensive line. I don't think they're going to add a center either, even though there's a bunch of them out there right now in free agency. I'm going to tell you why that's good and bad. I like Ezra Cleveland, okay? So let's not get it twisted. But I'll explain that. We're going to really talk about what running it back means in segment number 2. When you think about it in this term, they're bringing it back. They're bringing back the same security team for Trevor that they had last year. The same bodyguards, same people that couldn't keep him upright last year. They're going to miraculously get better, stronger, more physical, and they're going to keep him right this year. Segment 3, is it stubborn or is it patient? Is it stubborn or is it patient? I'll let you be the judge of it. I'm not going to tell you how to think. I'm just going to tell you how I think. I like Ezra Cleveland as a player. I really do. I like him. It's kind of how I like tuna fish, right? It's not disgusting. If you gave me a tuna fish sandwich for lunch, you might get a little side eye from me. You know, Kimmy might get a little side eye from me. But if she put some relish and some eggs in it, some boiled eggs, and the bread is just right, and she added the right amount of mayo and put me a lettuce and tomato in the bag, and I could make me a nice gourmet tuna sandwich. I eat it and get full and be happy. I don't want no damn tuna sandwiches. Give me my choice. If you ask me what I want for lunch, I'll tell you to throw a ribeye in there. And that's what I thought the Jaguars learned from last year when their quarterback was constantly on the ground. That they needed a ribeye. They needed some top shelf food. They didn't just need crab meat. They needed lump crab, right? Because Trevor Lawrence is just that damn important. But that's not what's going on. It looks like they're going to run it back. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept Brandon Sheriff. They already sound like they're going to keep Luke Fortner. That maybe they'll bring in somebody I think their idea of upgrading the offensive line is they're going to bring somebody in to take Tyler Shatley's backup job. Because it doesn't sound like that they're ready to replace any starters at all on the offensive line. So we'll get to segment 2 and segment 3. We'll talk about whether this is ego or not. They did make one good move today, and that's re-signing Daniel Thomas, depth safety. going to have the chance to compete this year. Right now, he's probably second team safety along with Dewey Wingard. So that's a position that they probably won't even think about addressing. Daniel's value is also, he's one of the best gunners in the NFL on special teams. So kudos to them for bringing back Daniel Thomas. I think he's a good core player that sort of keeps your floor of your team very, very high. I like him. I like him a lot. So kudos to them. Good look for Ezra Cleveland, who I heard wanted to play tackle. Maybe he was going to enter the free agency market because he wanted somebody to let him play tackle. He's like a super athletic dude, man. 6'5", over 310 pounds, and has a history with Phil Rauscher, the offensive line coach. They gave up a 5th or 6th round pick for a look-see, and they liked what they saw, and they were able to keep him off the market. So Ezra Cleveland is a Jaguar, at least for the next 2 years, depending on how that contract is structured. It's a 3-year deal for like $29 million. I think it's a $14.5 million guarantee, so he probably gets like $9 million a year on the cap for the next 2 years. I get it. I totally understand. I get it. Ezra Cleveland, you just wonder, like, why would a team like Minnesota not re-sign him? Maybe they feel like they have other people that are in development that are better. Like the Jaguars, they seem to love their backup right guard who was out last year. So, we'll just have to see. We'll have to really, really see, man. I know it sounds like, man, Wig, you need to be happy about something, right? You don't sound real enthusiastic about the fact that they were able to retain one of their guys, because I always talk about retention. And the analogy is I'm always talking about building a house. And I'm always talking about elevation. And I'm always saying you can't keep running it back and just rolling new people in. I get it. I totally understand. I just think for me, his return signals the fact that there ain't going to be any new starting blood on that line. And what I mean is this. I don't think Ezra Cleveland himself is the biggest culprit and the biggest violator of them not being able to block people. I don't. I just wanted them to add somebody that when I watch tape that looks like Anton Harrison. Like when I see those other 4 dudes looking around while. So here's what happens when you watch Jaguars tape from last year on passing downs. You see one guy actually giving the dude the business on that line for the most part, and that's Anton Harrison. When Cam Robinson wasn't there, you saw 4 other guys seemingly opening the gate for Trevor to get chased. That's what it looked like. I saw bullfighting before. I see the dude that's standing up on the gate, then he opens up and the bull runs out, and there's some idiot running around in there with a clown suit on. I don't know why the hell he would ever think about doing that, but that it's almost like the offensive line were the dudes that are rodeo that stand up and open the gate and say, there he is, go get him. Sometimes it really did. It reminded me of National Geographic. It looks like, the hyenas. I'm telling you, they didn't look like the lions chasing the gazelle or the deer. They didn't look like the hyenas chasing. You know what they look like? They look like when a leopard has his kill, his prey, he's sitting there and he has the bite on the neck and they're stopping the breathing and they're just waiting and he's looking around. And then the hyenas come, the leopard hauls ass, and then they take. That's what it looked like. It looked like the ball is the prey. Trevor was the leopard, or in this case, the jaguar. But he's by himself. And now all of a sudden, here comes a whole bunch of hyenas, and he knows he can't beat them. He'll try to fight the first one, but then after that, he just takes off and says, y'all can have it. There you go. So I wanted new blood. I wanted a dude that was just like Anton Harrison, that was going to stand out there at left guard and bust people in their mouth. So it ain't going to be 4 people chasing him. It's going to be 3 because me and Anton doing our job. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see them build towards something. Obviously, they had other plans. I ain't got no problem with it. What I got a problem with is what it looked like last year, and I don't see anything above just them hoping and wishing that what they saw last year is going to change. So Ezra Cleveland is back. Daniel Thomas is back. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not all of that. I just feel bad for Jaguar fans. I'm going to tell you why. And I hate to laugh, but I am laughing because I told y'all. I told you all of those scenarios and all that stuff everybody was sitting there talking about. We're going to get Cooper Beebe and we're going to get JPJ. And even I was in and said, let's get Robert Hunt. Let's get 3 of them. And then cut Cam and we'll move Anton to left tackle and get Amarius Mims too. Nope. No. They're going to run it back with the same people. I got to find that tweet too, and I'll show it to you. They're running it back with the same people. We're going to talk about why that could turn out to be an absolute disaster and a death knell for this franchise for the immediate future. I'll tell you about it just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. But first, I got to let you know about eBay Motors, man. That's right. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, I'm in all three, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. And I got to let you know about Game Time. Man, listen, if y'all ain't never, ever procrastinated like your boy, then you won't know what it feels like to wait to the last minute to do everything and buy tickets. And then you get somebody who's going to come up to you and say, well, your lack of planning is not my emergency. Game Time will never tell you anything like that because your lack of planning is right in their wheelhouse. They will take care of you at the last minute with tickets to any event you want. Any of them. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy it, all in prices, show your total up front, buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. They're obsessed with taking care of your non-planning self. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, all one word, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, second segment here on Locked On Jaguars, where it's your team every day. We thank you for making us your first listen. I got no problem with the draft, sign, retain, continuity with the offensive line. I have no problem with them keeping Ezra Cleveland. I didn't think Ezra Cleveland was the biggest problem. For me personally, I don't care what the stats say. I thought that Brandon Sheriff, he's getting old, and I just like Sheriff didn't like do anything terrible. He just never, in my opinion, did anything really, really good either. I thought Luke Fortner played like my sister. I'm keeping it real. Or better yet, played like me, because I can't play center either. And I can't fight and push 300-pounders. I ain't gonna call that man a girl. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Luke. I just running it back, man. Running it back is fine if you're good. Running it back when you're not good is not great. It's not fine. It's not okay. I just really think a guy like Ezra Cleveland, he's best if he's your swing guy. I think talents like that on teams that win championships, he's your swing guy. He's your first lineman on the field if you get anybody hurt because he's versatile. So yeah, man. the thing is the hope for new blood on that offensive line is dwindling, and your belief as a fan has to be that this ain't what we thought was gonna happen. If you listen to this podcast, man, I told y'all this stuff was going. That's why I don't even be paying attention to none of this foolishness, man. How many of y'all got to go back and redo your mock drafts? You see why I told you it don't make a lot of. I'm sorry for that loud noise, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. It don't make a whole bunch of sense for you to be doing that stuff when they're gonna do the silly stuff that they do. This is why I don't do them. I'll go through them and play around with it from a league-wide perspective. But to invest all of that time sitting there thinking that this team is gonna actually, really, like you thought that this team was gonna actually fix what you thought needed to be fixed. Don't work like that because it's the Jaguars. They never do that, right? And Trent isn't going to do it. The only thing that's going to change them is when they have to change the city they live in. They are not going, especially Trent. He's not going to do anything that you think. I think Trent is actually running his team like, I'll show all of y'all. That's what I believe. I'll show all of y'all. I know what I'm talking about. I'm all about retaining players. Like I said, I have no problem with this. What it represents for me is the fact that your confidence level has to be super low, that this is not going to be any other thing that it was last year. And that was, hey man, we're gonna run it back. We're gonna spin the block with these same people and hope we get a different result. They fired a whole defensive staff, and the number one problem with this team last year was the offensive line. And they fired the assistant offensive line coach. Don't y'all see? And everybody gets mad at me when I try to tell them this stuff. Even the people that were the most optimistic and enthusiastic folks in the world when it comes to trying to give Trent Baalke the benefit of the doubt, even they thought, oh, he's going to get an offensive line this year. Hello. How you doing? Y'all all right? Okay. No, he's not. There's a center out there available right now that they can be talking to, Morse from Buffalo. I'll see if they reach out. He's a good player. He's 30, 31. I heard Buffalo's going to bring him back, but they let him go to bring him back. And he, if that's the case, they could have just restructured his contract. But I think the dude wants to see what's going on. Guess what? If I'm the Jaguars, I'll call him and tell him what's going on. The other thing is their cap space probably has gone down to like $13, $14 million, or maybe even $12 million with this restructure. And with both of these guys, they might have $9, $10 million left. They might have enough right now to draft, to pay their draft picks. Yeah. How can they create more space? Well, they can give Josh Allen a long-term deal. And I heard they were really, really close the last time I really paid attention to it, which was about 36 hours ago. They got to try to re-sign Calvin Ridley. How are they going to do that? Who else they going to cut? Where they going to get the money from? They're going to cut Brandon Sheriff, and it's going to give them some money. They ain't going to give them a whole bunch of money until June 1st. That's when all the savings happen. If they make him a June 1st designation, they're not going to save a whole bunch of money right now that they can spend today on him. So what else do they do? It's essential that they get a deal done with Josh Allen, and you'll probably have an $8, $9 million hit the first year on the cap. And after that, that might give them $16, $17 million extra that they don't have right now. And with that, they can go and do some other things. I heard they were interested in Jerry Sneed and all of the. They would have basically brought their team back, lost Calvin Ridley, and added LeJerry Sneed if they do that. And then they lose their second round pick easily. I'm bewildered, but I'm not broken, right? I hope y'all aren't either. This isn't like the huge disaster. Like I said, the kid is a good player. I like him a lot. The thing is though, you're now starting to feel like you've been hoodwinked by you. Because not me. I told you. This is what they do. They are loyal. I mean, I ain't never seen this kind of loyalty. Army ants aren't this loyal to the guys that they pick. They pick everybody they pick, they're gonna keep them. Because and you know what? I'm gonna salute him for his conviction, man. I salute you, Trent Baalke, for being 10 toes down and having your conviction. Your conviction just ain't right. Is it stubbornness or is it patience? I'm gonna tell you what I think about that. And I'm going to do it in just a second here in the third and final segment on Locked On Jaguars. But first, I have to tell you about Locked On Sports Today. That's right. Locked On Sports Today is one of a kind, man. It's like the first ever, it is the first ever 24-hour streaming channel on YouTube. All sports. That's right. On YouTube now, it's available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app also. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts on Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. I'll answer that question, whether it's stubbornness, or impatience, or patience. Tell you in just a second here in the third and final segment on Locked On Jaguars. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from another retirement account with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1, quarter 1, 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer. All right, third and final segment here with Locked On Jaguars, where it is your team every day. We thank you always for making us your first listen. Trent Baalke is either extremely patient or he's extremely stubborn. I know most Jaguar fans with their emotion will say that today he's just stubborn. He's stubborn. He ain't patient. He's stubborn. He's stubborn because he sticks with his gut and he sticks with things that are just not very good things that he needs to be sticking with, right? Right. I believe he thinks, and him is the people that support Trent, I believe they think he is extremely patient. I think that they believe Trent Baalke is doing the right thing and it's a painstaking process. I even had one person tell me the other day, you can't fix a team in 3 years. I had somebody tell me the other day that the cupboard was so bare when he got here, and within 2 years, he won 9 games. And then in year 3, he won 9 games again when they had a bunch of injuries. All that's factual. That's true. I disagree with the assertion that because the cupboard was bare, that it's going to take him longer. I think most coaches most GMs, if you come in, they want the cupboard bare. They want the cap space. They want a plethora of draft picks. They want to be picking at the top of the draft when you get the job. That, to me, signals that it could be a quicker rebuild because you're not married to bad contracts. You don't have guys that you don't really want to keep, but you have to because there's too much of a dead cap hit if you move them around. The Jaguars had none of that. He built this with an empty canvas. He painted this picture with an empty canvas. It wasn't already a whole bunch of stuff on there, and he had to build around it and try to cover it up the way you would do a tattoo or turn something else into something else. No, he had an empty slate and a pocket full of cash. Enough money to choke a goat. Peter, don't you? That's just a figure of speech. So I ain't trying to. Ain't nobody choking no goats, right? I eat goat, but I ain't trying to choke a goat. But so this thought that for some reason the Jags were so bad that because it's good, because it's 9 wins, 2 years, and it's better than it's been, that we don't have the right to criticism. That's wrong. The first draft pick he made in his second season after they got Trevor Lawrence, the first year, the first pick he made was Trayvon Walker. You know who picked right behind him? Detroit. Now, Detroit didn't make the playoffs in Hutchinson's rookie year. They didn't. But they made it this year. And not only did they make it this year, they should have went to the Super Bowl. Now, shoulda means they didn't, but they did get to the conference championship game and had a very impressive 2.5 quarters. That's more than the Jaguars did this year. The Jaguars were in a division with 3 teams that all had rookie quarterbacks. Rookies. And they didn't make the playoffs after making it the year before. The Jaguars missed the playoffs because the team that had a rookie quarterback that had the second pick in the draft was one of the worst organizations in football. That's passed them up. Houston's better and in a better situation right now. And they likely going to be super aggressive and draft some more people. That's going to help them. You don't have to just always pay attention to numbers and stats and say, this is the best that they've ever been. Why are y'all complaining? Because it's not the best that they can actually be now. That's why. They've been passed up by Houston and Detroit and all of these other teams. I think Indy's standing right there. And I think Indy, they were a drop pass away from going to the playoffs. But Trent Baalke's just going to run it back. So I'm not telling you how to feel. I applaud him and I appreciate whether it's patience or stubbornness. Man, stand on your hill and pull your sword out like you Jon Snow and swipe at all the haters, including me. But the people from the north ain't going to come save you. I appreciate Trent being who he is and like he is. I just think who he is and like he is not good. And he's consistently not good at what he does. But he's sticking by those guns, man. And I applaud it. I'm almost a 55-year-old man. I know sometimes you got to just you got to be 10 toes down and stand on business and be exactly who and what you are and be true to it. He's a mediocre GM and he's being true to it. I'm not surprised, are you? So you determine whether it's patience or being stubborn. I think it's an admirable trait either way. But it's going to leave Jaguars mediocre. That's going to be your identity. Your identity is Trent Baalke and his ability to procure talent. That's what it is. Your identity, we keep talking about culture and identity. Your identity is tied to that man drafting and that man signing players and making business decisions. So unfortunately, we're going to keep having these conversations until it changes. If it changes for the better, fine. I'll eat crow because that makes you happy. If it doesn't change, I'm going to keep telling y'all, I told you so. I'm going to tell you again tomorrow too, man. Make sure you tap in to Locked On Jaguars every single day. It's your team every day. We always thank you for making us your first listen. And don't get mad at me for laughing at y'all, okay? All those people that penciled in all these guards, all these offensive linemen that the Jaguars are going to get in free agency. I'm going to find that tweet and I'm going to post it on social media where I told you, I think that boy's going to run it back. Don't be surprised. And what do we have here? He's running it back. All right, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow here on Locked On Jaguars. Take care of each other and come back and see me.